Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. So I'm here to talk to you about some Agile myths and bust them. So this actually came from a person that I'd worked with, kind of unfortunately a client had came into my office and asked me about basically changing requirements in the middle of an iteration that we were doing. And he said, well, we're Agile, right? Isn't that what agility is all about? And when he left my office, I was like, wow, that's not agility. You know, that's silliness. That's not agility. And so it made me realize, like, how people misuse Agile and agility. And it inspired me to actually create this presentation and bust some of these myths that we often hear about Agile that we're starting to, maybe believe that they're actually true, and they're really not. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is, basically, hey, that's not agility. That's stupidity, some of these things. Like, in the middle of the iteration, changing the requirements is not being Agile. That is not an Agile principle or practice, and really it's kind of a stupidity if you do that. So this is where we're going to go here, so I hope you have a little bit of a sense of humor about it. So first we're going to talk about what Agile is and the 12 principles of Agile, and then we're going to start busting those myths. And actually what I did is I went through the top 10 myths. Some of these are based on my experience and what I see are very common myths. Some of them are actually based on research. I'm not the only person who looked at what are the top 10 myths people have about Agile. I actually did some research, and there was some concurrency of agreement, basically, on what some of the top 10 Agile myths were. So I'm going to share my resultant list with you, and then I'm going to share when should we do Agile, and then compare traditional to Agile. So hopefully this will be valuable. So what is Agile? Is it a method to manage projects? Is it a software coding method? Is it a set of processes like traditional project management has, but a new and improved version? Well, what it really is a set of principles, really. It's not a method. It is an approach, but it's a set of principles, and fundamentally, it's a cultural shift. The principles that Agile has are going to guide our teams and how teams work, and they guide development and how we do development. And Agile is a great solution for some types of projects, but not all projects. And I actually teach an Agile course for University of Virginia. I'm an instructor there, and there's a lot of these myths that I deal with in the first few weeks of class about, what Agile is and is not. And usually what happens in a class is I have half the class is like, wow, Agile's great, best thing since sliced bread. And then there's other people who are like, well, I don't know, Agile still might not work in these situations. And both of those are probably wrong in to some degree, because Agile isn't the best thing since sliced bread, and we should throw out traditional project management. I don't believe that, and most project managers don't agree that Agile is a solution for everything. It's a solution for some types of projects. Often IT and software development. There are other implementations of it. I've seen Agile be used in marketing. I've seen it in other arenas. I use it for development of training applications and training software, and even just developing courses, training courses. So I use it for that. So there's some different applications that are not all IT and software. But I would not say that because Agile's here, get rid of all traditional. And I wouldn't say that Agile doesn't work, because obviously it does work. So I think we just need to be a little bit more maybe open-minded about it. So speaking of open communications is part of Agile. It's a big part of it. It means open communication between teams, stakeholders, and customers. So when we talk about Agile project management, it's really difficult to talk about it without bringing up the Agile Manifesto. And what I've done here is kind of edited the Agile Manifesto a little bit for non-IT projects. And the reason I did that is I don't want people to just think Agile is used for software development and IT. And the really only part of it I edited is in the second bullet. Instead of working software, I wrote working product. And pretty much that's it. Other than that, everything about the manifesto applies to project management for projects that are non-IT or non-software development projects. And we look at the Agile Manifesto, it gives us these 4 items. It says individuals and interactions are valued over processes and tools. That doesn't mean we don't have processes. It doesn't mean we don't have tools. It's just that we don't value the process and the tools more than people and how people interact with each other. The same with working product, or if it were software, working software, over comprehensive documentation. Having a big binder of documentation doesn't mean anything if we have no code for software. And if we are creating a product, but all we have is documentation about the product and no product to deliver, no training material to deliver, no marketing material to deliver, there's no value to that because the customer gets value from a working product, not from documentation about that product. So it's sensible. And then we see customer collaboration over contract negotiation. One of the ways I've always dealt with this in my projects is that when the project starts, I just say, hey, we're all on the boat together. And if the boat's going to sink, we're all going to sink. So even though I'm the contractor, I'm the vendor, and, the customer is the buyer, and maybe there's another vendor relationship or a subcontract relationship, all of that contract stuff doesn't matter. What matters is we're all in it together, and we're either going to sink or swim. And that's what customer collaboration means. And that's why we value that over contract negotiation. And next, we have responding to change over following a plan. That does not mean we don't have a plan. That doesn't mean we never have a plan. It doesn't mean we don't have requirements. It doesn't mean that we don't think about what we're going to do and try to plan things out, because even in Agile, any type of project management, you're going to need to have a plan. In Agile, we like to keep those plans really small, like a week to 4 weeks. The reason for that is that if we only plan over the short term, we're much able to respond to change over the long term. That does not mean that during a week-long iteration, in the middle of the iteration, we can make a change to that. The change we can make is to end the iteration if we find that that is not valuable and restart with a new iteration. So the client that walked in said, well, we're being agile to change things in the middle of the iteration. It actually isn't, because it doesn't mean we don't have a plan. We do have to stick to our commitments, and we do have to deliver. We have to deliver on value, and if we change our plan every 2 days, we're never going to deliver anything. So that's not agile. So that's just a little bit about the Agile Manifesto, and it may be very familiar to everybody, but I do like to talk about it because I feel like it comes up enough, and sometimes people don't talk about it because they think everybody knows about it. So let's make sure we cover it for everybody. All right, so then we have the 12 principles of Agile. I'm not going to read through all of these.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year. But if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.